Good morning, graduates. Thank you so much for having me during this special occasion, which all of you worked so hard for. I'm only sorry I couldn't be there in person, but I think such is life during COVID times. I believe that I've been asked to speak to you today because of my work at Teach for the Philippines and how its values and orientation align so closely to the Ateneos. Teach for the Philippines selects high potential Filipinos and develops their leadership skills for service to our country. Over the last 10 years, we've trained over 300 Filipino professionals who in turn have taught almost 100,000 public school students. Almost 35% of those who graduated from our programs joined the government, and 40% of tenured public school teachers who join us have been promoted. However, what I'd like to focus my brief message to you today is on Teach for the Philippines' definition of leadership, because I feel it's something that's worth a conversation about right at the beginning of your new journeys. Especially because you all, no doubt, aim high for yourselves and aspire to have your voices heard. Leadership at Teach for the Philippines is neither a role nor a position, but a collection of actions that set an example. In short, with your diploma in your hand today, and as you step outside a newly minted graduate, what will matter most is not what you want to be, but who you want to be. The country will benefit from strong characters called to lead across various sectors. But take note, the emphasis is not on being strong, but on having character. And here's the rub. Courage is necessary to building character. So what I would like to speak to you about today is courageous leadership. For over a decade of collection action, this is what tells me if I am witnessing courageous leadership at work. Anyone can be courageous. At Teach for the Philippines, it's understood that all leadership is personal and starts with introspection. Taking time to reflect is also a path to self-mastery. So everyone at any station in life or status can act on the following. The first step to self-mastery is knowing your eulogy virtues versus your resume virtues. There's a difference. Put simply, resume virtues are the skills that we bring to the marketplace. Eulogy virtues are the ones that they share about us at our funerals. So while alive, both are important and worth pursuing, but only one of the two leaves a legacy. Second, for self-mastery, you need to be accountable. The erosion of your ethics typically starts because of speed, pressure, thoughtlessness, or all of the above. Courageous leaders mitigate ethical backsliding by surrounding themselves with people who hold them accountable. Self-mastery also means confronting weaknesses. Confronting weaknesses means being comfortable with and curious about your own ignorance. We can't and do not need to know everything. A courageous leader isn't afraid to say, I don't know. Yes, saying I don't know encourages criticism, but it also encourages engagement, guidance, and suggestion from others, creating avenues for dialogue and collective excellence. Second, courage requires difficult conversations. As opposed to conflict avoidance, courageous leadership requires fierce conversations with yourself and with others, as often as they are needed. One example of this is because we carry contradictory beliefs. The poet Walt Whitman says it best, I am large and I contain multitudes. When studied carefully, some of our values are complementary, others are conflicting. The grace that courageous leaders find in accepting their multitudes helps them appreciate the healthy tension between conflicting values rather than perceiving tension as a problem and feeling guilty. The second example of courage requiring difficult conversation is that not everything is in our control, and thus not everything will work out well. Sometimes ambiguity will make failure inevitable. Those who can face this fear head on but still remain willing to admit the failure and keep trying to get it right, and then who can help others do the same, are truly useful to mankind. The third skill of courageous leadership requires one to consider and be responsible for others. Leading ultimately is not about you. The very word leadership implies motion, a directionality, an intention to arrive at a destination. If you are trying to lead people somewhere, it is more vital to your success, to the group's success, for you to give the people that you're leading the confidence to be the best version of themselves, so that they can do their jobs for you to the best of their abilities. In sum, courageous leaders take more than their fair share of the blame and less than their fair share of the credit. So anyone can be courageous. Courage requires difficult conversation, and courage requires considering and being responsible for others. Courage and courageous leadership is necessary to building character. I have heard it said that character is like a tree and reputation is its shadow. Integrity, therefore, is the similarity between our tree and its shadow. Said differently, integrity is the congruence of our values and our actions. In myriad capacities, with the degree that you now have in your hand, and how a college degree already sets you apart from millions of others, you will be asked to lead others. Before you do so, I ask you to think about the congruence of your own values and actions, your integrity, your character. Integrity and character are foundational to being worthy of trust. Already critical and in short supply pre-COVID, now more than ever, we need leaders who engender our trust, and these trustworthy leaders will be vital to our society in a post-pandemic future. Have the courage to be trustworthy amidst the chaos and inequities of today. You worked so hard to earn the privilege of that degree in your hands. Congratulations. It is fantastically well-deserved, and having been in your shoes at Ateneo, I can only imagine the hours that you've put in these past few years. However, my job is to tell you what's around the corner, and looking ahead to tomorrow, it is your choice to choose. It is your choice to use and choose that this privilege in your hands will be used to make a difference. Please make it count. Thank you again for having me. Congratulations and Godspeed.